Good evening. You are listening live to the Extreme Movie Show. I am your host, Rob, broadcasting to you from the Pinos Palace, just west of Orlando, Florida. I have the young 20 something Professor Pixel joining me tonight in the Extreme Studios tonight. Put that back up, sir. That was an appropriate photo.
Oh, put it back up. Oh, my bad, my bad. I'll keep it up. I'll stay hidden behind the sign that
You
says
know,
welcome.
if you and I were to go to Twin Peaks, the population would be 51,203. And I like this little font here because there was something about last week's episode of Forever Night, Season 2, Episode 5, that kind of reminded me of it, at least in brief. And I mentioned it to you because there was almost a crossover episode. And that's supposed to be something with Miami Vice that I'll be talking about this Sunday night, where Schanke actually shows up as a greaseball, slime bag dude, lawyer, whatever. And you'll have to listen to RDV and I Live for that. But here tonight, guys, in Capital Offense, episode 6 of season 2 of Forever Night. Let me just breathe and exhale and calm down and say this. You know, I've accepted that season 2 is different than season 1. Not having a problem with it. Last week's episode really wasn't memorable or great. A lot of people don't like it or find it boring. I kind of was in the right frame of mind to enjoy it, but it would be hard pressed for me to sit there and say, yeah, I could watch that one a second time. Whatever I might have said that might have been construed as less than positive about last week's episode, put that all to side because this episode's going to jump in that place as the worst one that I've seen. Um, there's things I like about it and a lot of things I don't. And I'm going to take a different perspective as we go through this. I, of course, want to take a moment as people are following the chat to thank Superfan Kevson Donson, KD, as it were. I believe he's Canadian himself, for posting all this in the Facebook Forever Night fan base too, and a lot of people that have shown up watch for it. Certainly appreciate that. We love that. We will continue all through season 2 here Wednesday nights live, 9 p.m. Eastern, and then next year we'll do season 3 and finish it out, which will be really cool. But here's the thing, Pixel. I think this episode starts off kind of good. Normally, I'm willing to overlook poorly portrayed accents. But as a true Southerner, and knowing there's a lot of different Southern accents, whether you're from North Carolina, or you're from Florida, or if you're from Texas, and you know what, or Alabama, this is just to not get it right at all. And I really don't want to be negative, just to be negative. But just things did not click in this episode for me. And so I don't know how you feel about it, but why don't you start us off, getting go here? I know we got a couple sides we'll go through and talk about as we give our perspectives on things. But yeah, I was not a big fan of this episode.
Yeah.
Despite LaPaul
Let's
and the vamping out.
let's go right into the beginning where we see this woman is walking through a parking garage. Um, we notice, I think it's Nick behind a car, and
Correct.
they see, and he goes ahead into like a walkie because who else is there but Skanky? Turns out they're tailing her, and quick, hurry, she's getting away, and they're trying to get after her. But Nick uses his vampire powers to jump across and basically get hit by her in the car, and she stops. Oh, well, it's fine. Don't worry. You're under arrest. Turns out this is Laura Garfield, the axe murderess from Texas, the Tex Axe murderer. Um,
It is in no way at all ever a Texas accent. So here's the thing in the South. A lot of accents are regional, so you can have more than one accent in one location. Texas is extremely vast and big, as you may know. It is the jewel in the crown of the republic in the United States of America, as some would describe it. And it certainly is pretty interesting. And brisket is, hey, number one barbecue, in my opinion. Here in the South, though, in Florida and like Carolina, it tends towards pig and pork and sweet sauces and all that stuff, but not for me. This accent is so horrible. I'm not saying she's not consistent with the accent, because she is. But when I look at her and I go, I don't care where she's from, that accent is so distracting that I cannot take her seriously as an axe murderer. Okay, be an axe murderer. I'm cool with that. Nick hasn't come up with an axe murderer as far as we know to this point. Okay, give me a killer. Give me a female killer. I want a female killer. Better yet, I want a female axe murderer killer who's killing everybody left and right, including her husband, boyfriend, the mailman, the garbage man, the guy that walks her dogs. Give me that. But don't hide it behind this horrible accent that is so bad it's distracting. I mean, Nick slips into a Scottish accent, the actor. He does. You hear it on every episode to me at least once or twice, a little word here and there. It happens, but you forget it. It's not distracting. this is horrible off the start. But I like the opening gambit. I thought this was kind of cool.
Yes, but all this to go ahead and get her into this this room, um, just for her to say, well, go ahead, get it over with. But I'm innocent. I didn't do it. She's already been convicted. Like, she escaped, but she was supposed to already have gotten the injection. Done. But there's something in what she says that reaches out to Nick. And Nick believes that maybe she is innocent. And maybe he can look into it. After this, he goes to the captain, who's like, Nick, this is done and over with. We're already in contact. She's going to be going back to Texas, so that way she can go ahead and get her sentence. But you know what? With your own time, you can do what you like. But this cuts into Skanky's plan because they had just finished this. He was going to be going off for a weekend with Myra.
Why?
To get laid.
Because she gets horny when they go fishing.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
That's what she says. That's what he says that she just... Yeah.
It's interesting dialogue. And I'm like, okay, I get he wants to get a little get some. I'm glad he's always talking about Myra. But here's the thing that made me think about Schanke. What is his role in the show?
I mean, at this point, it's like milquetoast comic relief.
Yeah, but it's also for us there as a viewer so he can be stupid like us. Because, okay, she's in Toronto because she had nowhere else to go. I'm like, really? That can't be true.
Out of everywhere to go, Toronto.
And I understand her going, oh, if they caught me in the United States, they'd kill me, so I made a run across the border, so I ended up here. Okay, that'd be a little bit better. So the writing is kind of suspect to me, right? Because Texas and the South, a lot of places we have the death penalty. I think one of them just instituted the firing squad again after a long layoff. Seriously. So, we call ours here in Florida Mr. Sparky, the electric chair. That's just kind of how it is. As they say in Texas, an armed society is a polite society. And I like the fact that for the most part, we're really anti-gun, anti-violence in the show. Again, politics is not what the theme of the show is, but Nick is very progressive. He's trying to atone for his sins. He's very politically liberal-leaning. Nothing wrong with that. I'm sure our wonderful neighbors up north of the border can find some solace. And this is actually an interesting take on being a vampire that had never been done before. This predates all the other vampire stuff after it by a long margin. And I give the show a lot of credit for that. I think that's really kind of cool. But right here, I'm going, okay, if Schanke can't describe what's going on, then I don't know what's going on. Because, okay, she's supposed to be dead. And while Schanke is basically explaining that to her and all that, Nick does that little thing where he does the, if any of you guys have watched the horror movie with Christopher Walken at the Dead Zone, where when he grabs somebody, his head kind of looks off to the side and he gets visions, right? Remember that? Remember we used to talk about that back in Halloween season? So Nick gets that little side twist, that little forward look while she's explaining about being innocent, because he gets a kind of interesting flashback where he's dealing with some nuns and he's hiding during the day, and the one lady just decides she's going to trust him, all that. So that's the parallel that we always talk about that happens, is that emotionally speaking, she decides to trust a complete stranger in Nick. So what's Nick going to do? Go, hey, I didn't learn my lesson over 500 years of living. I'm going to go back to the Middle Ages and remember when some random woman did this to me, and whatever possible ties it could have into. So I'll give the person in front a chance because they can have it. Honestly, sometimes that reminds me how Nick has just been naive this entire time and still acts like a child, because I get he's trying to be the softer side of whatever and honestly believe in her. But the problem is that we get nothing with it. I like the little speaking in French bits that they do in here, because LaQual will show up here in a little bit. And so even though this is kind of, low budget special effects, I do like him as an actor, like the way he's looking here, like you believe is kind of pain and futility and all that too. So they're off to chase some leads to kind of figure out what's going on here. And this is where it really starts slowing down for me.
Well, I mean, after we get past the first flashback, which actually, I liked the flashbacks this episode.
I did too. They were likable.
Well, until
did
the
nothing
end,
for the episode, but they're likable.
we'll get to that because
Mhm.
actually speaking about Lacroix, yeah, we have Nick driving around. At one point, it was him alone, but then later with Skanky. Seems that our favorite radio host has gotten his show back because he's whispering into that mic, a little ASMR. Go ahead and get into your ear. Tell me your secrets, because I love you all, and you will always have something for me.
With his vamp ability, don't you think he could just walk the streets and say, "You will listen to my late night vampire talk show. You will listen to WLACQ, call letters, right? Or whatever they call it, because I couldn't read it off the thing or whatever, right? Because they have that vamp ability. And I thought to myself at this point, seriously, I thought, okay, he was willing, and this is what I thought was cool about the opening game. He was willing to like vamp out a little bit and do the super speed thing to allow himself to get hit. Nobody noticed anything. So he's okay with doing that. But yet, for some reason, on this guttural level, he believes this woman. And I thought, why not just interview her one on one when nobody's in there and vamp her out and make her tell you the truth? You see what I'm saying? So it kind of violates that consistency of what we've seen him do. Not that he's made somebody do it, but he has made people forget, right?
Well,
So I was a little confused about why he had such a strong conviction with it. I know it's supposed to have to do with it in the past, but in the future, it doesn't make sense.
it's because he's stupid. Um,
God, I hate to say you're right because I hate telling you you're right, but you may be right.
I may be crazy. Um,
Just
but
because I'm paranoid does not mean they are not coming for me.
um, after this, they finally go ahead and they get a lead from her, from what's her name, Laura. Yeah, from Laura, about one of the people that she was supposed to be meeting. They're using basic names. Danny is one, but he's alive. The other guy, Billy, or no, Billy was her husband. Whatever dead guy there is, they find him there. Him and Skanky, they drive down because they're going to go ask this guy, grow him some for some information. The doors open already. They go inside. Guess what? They find him there on the bed with an axe. Another axe murder. But they go ahead. They get the rest of the police on the scene. Natalie is like, "Well, get him down to my lab, and we'll get information as fast as we can." Um, but it seems
Bear
like
with
it
me here
may be
about
too.
Natalie.
Huh?
Bear with me for a second here about Natalie, because
Sure.
this was kind of interesting. Or could have been, I thought, potentially. I thought it was interesting because, again, this is, I think, 1994, the end of 1994, when this 94 to 95, let's say, is when this show was going. So I think this episode was November, if I remember, of 94. I really like the description of Natalie going, well, I don't know the time of death. It could have been anywhere from 2 hours to 24 hours. And that's there for the writing because, did she have an alibi? Was it covered kind of thing and all that? Is there possibly any truth that she could be saying, to what she's saying? Because nobody believes her and all that. Of course, they'll check out her alibi, but that's the confusion. But I like the idea of this person being murdered by an axe murderer. And well, there's an electrical blanket put on it, and due to the heat, and all that, and the lividity on it, it's my guess anywhere from 2 to 24 hours. Like you couldn't tell. I thought, man, they could have done one really cool episode about like somebody like dying in like electric blankets or whatever like that to cover up some sort of crime or whatever, and that would have been cooler than what we saw here at the beginning.
Yeah.
Nick, what I don't
Yeah.
understand. Imagine Skanky walking in.
Uh,
Nick, man, I don't know what we're doing here. Myra's upset with all that too. She once sent me out to go get my electrical blanket, but then I told her they're unsafe, and now we're finding somebody who's murdered with it. And you're like, okay. And then there's something more to it. I mean, it sounds stupid, but at this point, I've almost checked out because the Quas checked in to visit Nicolas, and he speaks some French and all that. And he's like, oh, I'm tired of already, and I'll just make it for the day, and then we'll depart for our last time. Like, okay, I thought you got rid of him a couple of episodes ago, which probably was some other point in past history. So now I really have no idea what's going on. But
uh,
I do appreciate the curved angulature because we're not in the Raven at this point. So maybe I'm going through Raven withdrawal.
yeah, because there's none, and there's no Jeanette. They're like some of the basic things we're looking for. This episode does not have. Um, yeah, no, that flashback scene because we get him talking to, and it's the same actress that's the axe murderer. That's the nun.
Oh,
Um,
that's right. Damn it. That's
And
what we call budget.
yeah, yeah. Um, and she trusts, like she goes down in the cellar in this church, and Nick's on the hunt. He was out during the day. He's got some burns. They are hunting down Nick with dogs, but for some reason they open the door. The dog's barking, and they're like, "He's not in here."
I know. Still let the dogs lead. They would
They
chew
aren't
on a
even good. They
vampire.
aren't even good tracking dogs. Like I don't know much about
No,
dogs,
they
but
were
I don't think.
fluffy golden retrievers that were
Yeah,
not around in the middle fucking ages.
yeah. What a joke. Um,
That was horrible.
but after that, the nun comes down, notices him, and she's kind of shocked. Oh no, are you okay? And then the door opens. It's the Mother Superior. But the older nuns don't like going down there, so she just stands up there. Are you okay down there? Who are you talking to? Oh, no one. Have you seen this man they're looking for? No, sir. No, ma'am. No, no one. And we get Nick kind of vamping out. Honestly, it's some of the best vamping out because the red in his eyes is just so defined.
Yeah.
It looks good. But
And
what
I don't need
doesn't
that in a
look,
vampire show. I just need a little bit of it here and there.
yeah.
Whether it's the abilities or the look or the forlorn stuff, or better yet, feeling emo and playing your Steinway stand-up piano, sir, with sheet music.
What
I have no
is it?
idea what he's playing. It sounds like Liszt or something, you know.
No, he's playing what is it called? The Moonlight Sonata. I think
Oh,
that's it.
Beethoven.
Yeah, he's
Is
playing
it?
Beethoven.
Hold on.
It's
I'm listening to it right now. Hold on. But he's playing it very slow. It's not the pace I'm used to hearing. But while he's playing it, he gets a visitor. And he looks really, really angsty. And he's wearing all that too. And they're speaking French here, which is a nice touch. I like it. And I hope in the future, and because I don't know what it is here, it's a first watch for us both, that if they're in a different country, like Spain, maybe they speak Spanish, or German, they speak German. You know what I'm saying? It would be really cool. Maybe if they had something that was supposed to be set like in the wilds of Russia, we get, Russian or something or whatever. That's kind of cool to me. So yeah. Anyway,
oh,
I do like the flashbacks here for history moment too.
yeah, no, these were the best part of the episode. We did forget to mention that the guy that was killed did have a lady, and she popped in, and they questioned her, but didn't really lead anywhere. But yeah, no, these flashbacks between Nick and this nun, they're great. She has a music box, which I don't know what the year is supposed to be, so I don't actually know if she should have a music box like that. But that's neither here nor there. Um, it's a nice scene. Is really he is really liking this girl, and it's bringing out something good in him. From what I'm gathering, because yeah, Lacroix does come into the scene after the nun leaves, and she's like, Nicolas, we must go. I know you have the taste for innocence, but oh man, it messes with my digestion. Uh,
He's allergic to holiness.
that's right.
I mean, there's some
Um,
lines in here that normally I would love, but it's not working because of the episode's on shaky ground.
yeah, and basically he's saying, just be done with it. We can leave tomorrow. You don't need to hide out here. And it's like they're together at the time. But maybe she's bringing something out into Nick. It ain't going to matter though, because the next flashback, which is what we're going to get to, we're just going to keep going there. Lacroix gets over his feelings about being
Well, he's
allergic to
full from the
holiness.
night before, so now he
Yep,
needs a
and
drink.
just look, Nicola, look what I have done.
He is wearing
This
an
is
ascot, though. It's hard to hate him.
they're full of lies, and he tosses the music box in the fire. I don't. All of that it goes ahead and has this just for it to have an ending like this for the flashback. That's not even discussing what actually happens in the episode.
I
So
agree with you.
Nick has to go ahead and deliver um deliver Laura to the authorities, because they're going to take her back down to Texas. They have this lady cop that's been guarding her cell, and been kind of complaining this entire time. They have her in the back with her, and they're driving. They get a call from Skank, and Skank says, "Hey, Nick, I have I have Danny here, Danny Carruthers, and here's his location, blah blah blah." And Nick makes a decision. We can go there. I'll go there. We'll push out a confession. They drive down. Nick says, "Don't get out," and they go down to go up to his hotel room,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going ahead. "So that's why you killed him. That's why you did this, right?" And he's like, "I don't know what the hell you're talking about." Meanwhile, we get a flash
What?
into,
Excuse me?
huh?
What? Excuse me? That's what he's saying. Like, really, bro? Come on.
In the police station, Natalie goes to the captain and saying, "Hey, guess what? Forensics finally gotten off their asses. They found evidence that it was Laura that did the axe murder up here in Canada."
Yeah.
And that's when the lady cop goes ahead and decides, says, "Hey, I'm gonna turn on the radio." Goes to turn it on, gets choked out by Laura. And that's when she goes upstairs using the gun, and she goes ahead, she tells Nick, "I couldn't have done this without you." And right as she gets a shot in Danny's shoulder, skanking Nick put bullets into her. She hits the floor. There's God, there's nothing redemptive about this episode.
Well, in between the hair as it's building to the crescendo or whatever, we get the flashback of Nikolai coming in and basically, like you say, mentioned all these things. And so it's kind of like the lesson of what you're supposed to learn. And I actually like the fact that the same actress played the one in the past, the future, because I like the concept of having a doppelganger, or hey, maybe you see somebody that you saw a few generations ago, and if you live that long, you will see certain things that might be a bit more spiritual. And I don't necessarily mean religious, but just that's the way the universe works, and only a few people are privy to that kind of information. Everything else is pure speculation, whether it's right or it's wrong, no matter what religion or culture that may have existed that doesn't anymore, or something that's alive today. That's always the interesting thing when you bring in the historical context, which Anne Rice successfully did in the late 70s, going into the 80s, writing her Lestat trilogy and the other ones after that started becoming mainstream movies in the 90s, which now a generation later we're starting to see reboots of, which are more just moral pandering with a progressive audience as opposed to being true to what the story was about. Since Anne Rice herself has turned Christian and believes in God, whereas before when she wrote them she didn't. And the show, I always appreciated the progressive part to it because it was more about Nick's character and the inner turmoil that he would go through. And I like that little angsty bit to it. I think he does it well. I wasn't a fan necessarily of the Anne Rice trilogy movies, but in the 90s, everybody was celebrating, and it was cool to be a bad guy, or it was cool to be a loser, or it was cool to be a never was, or whatever. And they start celebrating like serial killers and stuff like that. And manly men were now being really put off screen, and everything was more about the emo guys. And again, I think the show does a great job with the concept of it. I do appreciate how structured they've made the second season here. But that whole episode, I'm going, not only is the accent horrible, she's not believable. It's not like Mick's lusting after her or got some reason to like it. Or maybe she's like a suckaby and, she can somehow manipulate Nick on a mild level or something, or that's how she gets away with it or something, and introduce a new spiritual creature or something. No, supernatural, I mean. But it's so bad that here at the end we see even Nick acting all petulant, bringing out the green bottle of blood, the wine bottle, as it were, trying to drink, in front of Natalie, and he's like, he won't, or whatever. And I'm like, you're acting like a
LaCroix was
drunk-ass
right.
bitch.
I'm better off trusting no one.
Yeah, and it's like, I get that, but I still feel, honestly, after a season now, almost season and a half, where LaCroix is really more interested in about having the one person he can have a bond with, not necessarily his son, although I've mentioned it like that, because when you're mortal, you're going to get bored, and you got to have people that you can pass time with that you like and produce. And he has not grown up at all in 500 years or whatever it is. He just hasn't. It's like, come on, buddy. It's
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 so.
this
This
is not
episode
this
is
episode is not redeeming in any way. I don't
no.
hate it, but it's just the worst. It's just not good.
I
It's
do. I
really a
hate it.
bad written, poorly concept, poorly executed show. It's just it started off okay and it went in a certain direction, but I'm like, Nick, are you that fucking dumb?
And the answer is yes. In
And
this
honestly,
episode,
here's the ending too. I don't like the fact that they pulled out two guns to kill her because I can't recall, and I may be wrong, but I'll say this: I don't believe they've solved anything by kills or by guns. I know there's been some killing. I know he killed LaQual early on in season one, right? Of course, we saw him now. They brought him back. Okay, that's fine. I'll buy it. But I like the fact that they ended stuff with basically an arrest or whatever it was or something. Things happen, right? And I know people are going to die. I just thought this was just a poorly written way to write her out of it because we're here for vampires. We're here for him being angsty. We're here for the relationships between him and Schanke, which has not gone anywhere, even when he wants to bang his wife going fishing out in the wilds, right? Because it's the only time she gets a little, wet.
mm-hmm.
And then we got the whole Natalie Love thing that doesn't seem to work out. She's just being like a good friend. And I'm like, this is me starting to almost make me hate them. And it's the writer's fault. It's not the actors. And even the lady that played the killer in here, okay, I was going, is there two killers? Is it really going to be her? There's no other red herring that might make me think it will be another killer. And they covered that up by doing these little longer than usual flashbacks, which I don't mind. They were good, but that even made me suspect, oh, yeah, she's the killer. What is it that Nick believes about her? I just don't see it. And it made it very hard to go, yeah, this is a good episode. It's a capital offense to watch this episode and like it, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for Forever Night fans that really like this episode. Not one of my favorites. I like the last one. I know a lot of you in the comments before said, there's better. This wasn't one of my favorite ones. I appreciate that. I'm pretty much saying the same thing here. Give it to me, Pixel. Final thoughts, sir.
God awful episode. Even the flashbacks that I liked, there's nothing redeeming at the end. There's nothing to take away. It's like they wanted to make an episode to give Nick like a step down, to give him, oh, let's go ahead and push him. But like they couldn't even commit to the bit. If that final scene was him going ahead and like after realizing what he had done alone, he grabs the bottle, he drinks it down. I don't want to see him in that way. But at least it would have meant something. Instead, I feel like I've wasted my time. And that is the worst thing a show can do to you.
And also, when I start thinking of how it could be better, not trying to appreciate what they're trying to do, whether I agree with it or not, or like it or think it, does well, it's like I kind of like their opening setup, them doing some sleuthing kind of stuff because hey, they are cops. Hey, great, we haven't seen them like inside a underground parking garage doing stuff, right? So this is kind of cool. And I thought, what would be even cooler is if it's a routine thing. He kind of checks it out, doesn't seem to work out. All right, I'll be handing you off to the ranger, let's say, because Texas has their own special law enforcement called rangers written in their constitution. Other states do not have. That's what makes Texas very special. They're allowed to succeed in their constitution. A few other states are that way. So they have a certain uniqueness about them that other states mostly don't have. It would have been cool if, like, say, you're getting to the middle of the episode or whatever, and this ranger shows up. I'm here to pick up the killer, the big old Texas hat or like that. And then Nick all of a sudden gets one of those flashy feels, right? And then we find out that the ranger picking him up is a vampire, another one. Like he senses it. And it's like, well, why is the vampire picking her up? Wait a minute, he's no ranger, or maybe he's like me, working for them. Maybe I'll talk to him. Maybe he wants to have a friend with somebody else who's undercover because, God forbid, he's the only one who's actually doing what he's trying to do, right? And then he wants to, keep her there. And I don't know. There's so many different ways they could have went here, and they didn't really try in this episode. I hate saying that because I'm enjoying the show. But one of the good things about having an episode that's like this, there's another one next week, ladies and gentlemen, 9 p.m. Eastern. Check us out, season 2, episode 7 of Forever Night. Good night now.
Good evening.